Greetings and salutations, fellow flesh tubes. It is I, Eric J. Chucky, joined, as always, by the boy.
Hey.
This is a Two Nerds podcast, and hey, right off the bat, why don't we talk about how cool Rob is? Because he supports us on Patreon, which you can do by clicking the link in the description. You know what else you can do down there is buy my brand new book, Colt Regan Start Again. Perfect jumping on point for the series, but there's also the other 4 books down there if you'd like to buy those too. Is that everything? Did we get the ads out of the way? Squarespace.
I was laughing because no matter what you say on his behalf, you're never going to top Rob. Rob is good.
I know. That's fine. If you type the code Rob is good into Raid Shadow Legends, you get 3 free drachma.
You don't. That's a lie.
Yeah, we're not sponsored by anyone except Rob.
I mean, if Raid Shadow Legends wants to give me money.
Look, yeah, fuck. I'll
you
talk.
give money to fucking everybody else. I'll talk about the world's #1 mobile game or whatever.
They seem neat. I played them briefly.
But yeah. So this is part 2 of a 2-part podcast. I really suggest you go watch part 1 first. Do we want to break it down again?
As movie homework, we talk about movies we watched a long time ago, and we just give little tiny reviews of all the movies we watch because we keep track of it on a different platform so that we can always remember what movies we watched, even when we forget what movies we watched. You would know that if you watched these lists of movies we watched because we talk about forgetting the movies we watched.
Moving right along. All right. So, in August of 2017, we both watched Spider-Man Homecoming.
God, this theater experience.
Oh, it was great.
I'm so sorry. I have to do the spousal abuse joke because I didn't.
No, the joke is dead.
Okay.
Just open your can.
All right. It's a can of whoop ass. You best look at
it. So, speaking of, I need to roll back. Because this Guardian. No, we talked about it in Guardians 1 because the Howard the Duck thing happens in Guardians 1, right? Yeah. Marvel movies always give a fucking theater experience. But I'll let you talk about that because I'm sure remember it a lot better than I do.
I don't really. Basically, the short version is there was a dad about 3 rows behind us. We had to watch it in the front row, which I'm cool with because I like watching the front row every now and then.
Gives my neck a crick sometimes.
Most people. I understand why people don't like it. I just enjoy it. It's like the movie. I'm like, I'm going to watch what's going on. Oh, there's a guy over here. You know, anyway. This dad would not shut up. He thought he was the funniest thing in the world. And he was just making all these jokes and like just not even just jokes, just saying shit like, "Come on, Spider-Man, do the thing," you know. Like, we do not have these experiences normally. People shut the fuck up in the theater, generally. Once in a blue moon does this happen. And then at some point in this movie, there's a joke about a penis. And I believe they use the word penis in a way that would require explanation to the 6-year-old that the guy is sitting next to. And then he goes, "Well, thanks a lot, Spider-Man," and is quiet for the rest of the film.
Thanks a lot, Spider-Man.
Yeah, thank you, Spider-Man.
So, the quote I chose was, "All right, that'll dissolve in 2 hours. No, come over here and fix this. No, you're a criminal. You deserve this for doing crime. 2 hours. I got ice cream in here, man. Goodbye, Mr. Criminal." Which is perfect.
I was just looking at porn. Which is near the penis line.
Also, just Ned, champion, bro. That's a grenade. That's a man jumping on a grenade for a buddy in a real way.
That's the realest. I believe we did a review of this on the show, didn't we?
We possibly did. Very quickly, this is a really fucking good Spider-Man movie. Once again, thanks to the universe and to the folks at Marvel and Sony for not making me watch Uncle Ben die again. Let that man have his rice. That joke is old, but still funny. But it's just, I'm really glad they went with another thing. It was a fun, way of entering into the Spider-Man universe without having to watch the exact same fucking story again. And it's a fun interpretation of Spider-Man because he didn't have it all together.
I like that. Like, yeah, that's the Spider-Man that Joe Quesada wants you to have. And as much as Spider-Man insert Linkara video making a deal with the devil to get rid of his marriage is fucking stupid, seeing this shit committed to film is beautiful.
Yeah, I would like it. You know, it's important to keep character growth, so I don't want Spider-Man in the comics to be this guy anymore. But I do like this guy. I'm happy we got to see a movie about him. And I'm happy we didn't have to see him spend half the movie sad about his dead uncle. Michael Keaton does a fucking astounding job as Adrian Toomes. A very interesting take on the character. Very different than the comics version.
I liked it a lot, though.
Same.
I loved the setup for this film.
One of the most genuinely threatening Marvel villains.
Yeah. Yeah, the car scene is ball-rattling.
Like, he's genuinely very threatening in this movie in a way that a lot of Marvel villains aren't.
Marvel Millins could be the name of a Marvel villain.
Marvel Millins is a name of a mailman in the Marvel Universe. He works under the Stan Lee one.
Yeah, I was about to say. I'm not going to go on a Stan rant. Let's just move along. Then we watched the 2017 Death Note Netflix movie. I liked this as an interpretation of Death Note. Again, like I said in the last episode when we were talking about Beauty and the Beast at the end, I'm fine with you changing things if you're going to interpret something. If you just wanted to do Death Note, the anime is right there.
Yeah, it doesn't need remaking. This is not a remake. This is not a American remake of a Japanese thing. This is an American adaptation of Japanese source material.
Yeah.
It's very important to understand the distinction because they do change a fair amount of shit.
But it still felt similar.
It's got similar world building and it's got a good vibe. I liked this movie quite a bit. It's not the anime.
No.
It's not the manga.
Well, and a lot of the anime and manga have to benefit violently from the slow burn of going over 26 episodes or however many volumes of manga before you get to the conclusion.
Like most Netflix movies, I think this probably would have done better as a miniseries. But it's not bad. It's certainly a fun time. I like this version of L. I like this version of Light. They are very, very different from their comics, from their manga and anime counterparts, but that doesn't make them bad. They are different though. So if you come to this movie expecting it to be like a shot for shot, like that remake of The Omen, you're gonna end up real fucking mad and disappointed, and that's kind of on you.
The quote I picked was from delightful Willem Dafoe Ryuk. Now I'm rooting for this guy.
The quote I chose was, "I am pretty sure from L." It does not speak well for your deductive capabilities at all.
I liked this L too. Very good actor.
Very intense.
He got the character, I think, and then just did his own thing with it.
Yep.
This is Spand-Up. It's
just
a stand-up special by Spandau Ballet.
Wow. So I watched Frankie Boyle, Hurt Like You've Never Been Loved. And the quote I chose was, "I'm sorry about that joke, Granny, and for my entire career to date." And he should be. And Frankie Boyle is hilarious, but he is very, one, offensive, two, crass. If that's not your vibe, don't go anywhere near him. If it is, he's great. He's very funny.
I like his name because it sounds like a cute thing you might call a hot dog dinner.
A Frankie Boyle.
Hey, we're having a wee Frankie Boyle tonight. Come over, bring you beans.
Yeah,
that's nice.
I think he'd hate that, and I'm happy.
Good. Yeah. Well, he can suck it.
Was this the first one?
This is how we started. Yeah.
So, we have finally run into a different podcast on our podcast, and more than just hey, we also did a podcast about this movie when we watched it way. This was the first episode of Netflix Roulette, where we both took our Netflix cues, picked a random movie from it, back and forth, and then the winner of the round was the one who had the better movie. Like, if it was a good movie, good. Bad movie, bad. And it was fun. He won. Just so we're clear, in the overall score of Netflix Roulette, it wasn't close. He won.
I would like to pick it back up again someday. We stopped because we got to The Founder, which ironically was a movie we were both really excited to see, but not in a good headspace for. And then we had to change our Netflix accounts, so our queues got wiped out.
And there are, to this day, still my queue's like 3 things long. in the new account.
Mine's larger, but I mean,
So, like, it'd have to be multiple streaming services or something like that. We've been working on it. But,
Sure.
In the final tally, you won. Wasn't close.
No.
This is part of the reason. We watched iBoy, a movie I unabashedly only watched because I like Maisie Williams as an actress. I think she's very talented. So, like you'd ever dare throw chips at me. Yeah, what would you do about it? Give you a slap, obviously. You'd have to find a chair to stand on first. This is one of the rare occasions where the quote I chose and the scene it's from are the exact same thing, because it's my favorite scene in the whole movie.
Why don't you tell the listener about the movie a little bit? I mean, they can just go watch the podcast, but like, give us a little summary of how good it is.
It's not a great movie. They did their best, but they didn't do an amazing job.
The quote I chose was hacking, which I believe was a partial quote. Either because they said it like a million times, like super intently, or that one guy said it as part of like an overall like words, hacking, words. But there was enough of a beat that it was like, what the fuck?
It was that thing. It was during the little news montage.
Yes, that's right.
This movie is, with hindsight, honestly, the movie just had too many movies it wanted to be.
Yeah, I mean, the base concept, while stupid, can get by in basically any superhero movie thing, but it wasn't a superhero movie, and it wasn't even like a gritty superhero movie,
It wasn't American Hero.
It wasn't The Boys either. It was just...
God, you know what? That's actually really... You know what? iBoy was great. It wasn't The Boys. I don't know if it's clear. I do not like that fucking genre.
It just was like, it wanted to be like a suspense thriller and like kind of a romance. Not in the way that a suspense thriller usually has a romance. That was just like a separate fucking thing.
It wanted to be a romance, kind of, and a suspense movie, kind of, and a superhero movie, kind of, and a revenge movie, kind of, and it just couldn't commit.
It's like, what if they fucked up The Crow?
Yeah, you just brought it down to one sentence. Move on.
Next Netflix roulette movie we watched was Haunter, not the Pokemon.
Should have been the Pokemon.
The quotes I chose were, "What's out there? Whatever you want there to be."
The quote I chose was, "History doesn't repeat itself. It rhymes." Which, that's a good quote. But, This is a... I don't recall liking this movie very much.
It was okay, like, broadly speaking, if I'm rating it compared to other movies.
It might just be that, like, I don't remember it that much. Go back and watch the Netflix roulette on it.
Yeah, I think you had a favorable opinion, but it wasn't, like, mind-blowing or anything. It wasn't as good as It Follows, if you guys have already watched the first part of this.
Because I believe this was also a Netflix roulette episode.
Yes, it was a Netflix roulette episode. It was, solid. It felt like, we made the joke about It Follows. The end of it was like a really, Are You Afraid of the Dark kind of ending. This is like a whole Are You Afraid of the Dark episode, but done in movie time and just with a little more attention to detail and threat. It was decent. It was a decent sit.
Yeah, that's cool fair. That's fair.
Had a very Stephen King-y vibe to it, too.
Yeah, but like
his movies, not his show, not his books, right?
The movies he's had a hand in.
Yes, exactly. Let's see. Oh, we got more. Netflix Roulette was the name of the game here.
It was. We did a bunch of it right back.
Yeah, well, it was fun.
So we watched a movie that I maintain I liked a lot. I mean, of course I did. Welcome to the Punch from 2013. What's that? Karen says I carry it off. Oh, does she now? Well, you look like Kenny Rogers. I can shave. You'll still look like a bag of smashed crabs.
Smashed crabs is a good turn of phrase. The quote I chose was...
Hey, from the smashed crab scene.
Yeah. You don't mind if I stay here and relax, do you, Iris? Of course I don't. Handsome man like you.
This is a good, fun movie. This is a fun heist movie.
It was okay. I like the scene with Grandmama.
Grandmama's great.
Yeah. It was all right. This genre of movies isn't my bag.
It's really not your deal.
But like, I feel like this was a fine entry in that genre.
Yeah. I like the genre, therefore I like the movie more.
I might have been more critical in it in the roulette because I was, even in 2017, a pretty different person from who I am now. But also I was reeling from just having watched it, so who knows. Okay. Ooh, it's time for the Spookadooks, I guess.
Yeah, you watched a bunch of short films.
Yeah, I watched some short films. Let's see. The 2008 short Bedfellows. Quote I chose was, "Hello." I think that was the only line in the movie. It's nice for a little spook. Then there was the 2016 short film Unknown Number. The quote I chose was, "Hello." That might have also been the only line in the film. The 2015 short film Vicious, where the quote was, "Katie." That one was okay.
I like how this is telling, like, the quotes you're choosing and the kind of the screenshots are kind of telling their own little short film story.
Well, I mean, so they're short films. Like, they're spooky.
They're 5 minutes.
Yeah, like, some of them like 10, but like, they're just spooky. If there's one that I need to elaborate on, I will mention it. But spooky short film. Look up the title and the year. Watch it. If I describe any more to you, then you don't need to watch it.
That's fair. That's fair. I know. I am enjoying the little hello, Katie, and then
The Smiling Man, a 2015 short film. This one was pretty cool visually, but didn't make a lot of sense. Shh was the quote I picked. The Cop Cap 2016 short film. Police department, anybody in here? Show your hands. Make yourself known. This was stupid.
But the story arc of your quotes is continuing.
It is. It's true. Night Night Nancy, the 2015 short film. I chose the quote Night Night Nancy.
We're losing the thread of the quote story arc.
This one was kind of dumb too. So was Mr. Creek, a 2015 short film. Don't move a muscle, don't even speak. He watches closely. He's Mr. Creek. You know, I will say that it did a lot more with the concept of the Babadook than the Babadook did.
I knew you were going to say that, and I've never even seen the movie.
Clickbait. This was pretty good. This is the kind of thing you want to watch in front of your computer late at night to give yourself the shits. 2016 short film again. Are you kidding me right now? Victim, a 2013 short film about Slender Man. It was not good. I can take a shortcut through the woods if you like. Passenger, 2015 short film. I hope we didn't misplace it entirely. I don't remember this one that well. I want to say it was just that she was dead the whole time kind of thing, but now I don't remember. This is the one I was wanting to get to. Downstairs, a 2014 short film. All right, kid, I'll totally friggin' club your ass. This was fun. This was one of the longer ones. The main character was really fun, and it had some good creeps. I would recommend seeking this one out and actually watching it. Attic Panic, meh, 2015 short film. I don't even think there were noises. Squeak, squeak is what I wrote down. Maybe a rat said that. I don't know. And we have met back up again, and I will let you take over.
This was all the way into November of 2017. Thor Ragnarok. What are you, Thor? God of Hammers? This is a great movie. We've done a podcast on it. I love this movie.
If we didn't do a podcast on it, that's because of the Guardians of the Galaxy rule.
Yeah, if we did, the only reason we wouldn't have done a podcast on this is, and we might not have, you're right, is if we didn't have enough to say that it wasn't just quoting the movie. This was fun. This was a fun time. Now, having watched The Dark World again fairly recently, I want to see the alternate universe where the third movie in the Thor franchise has the same tone as the first two, because I think it also would have been good.
Yeah.
I like The Dark World. I just saw it recently. This is not up for debate. Don't fight me. But Thor Ragnarok is a very fun film. It is a very cool film. Taika Waititi does an excellent job of bringing more of the Marvel irreverence into the Thor franchise, which was, before this, kind of absent of it for the most part.
Yeah, I think if it weren't for the rest of the Marvel movies, the Thor series wouldn't have done very well, especially after the first one. Like, if it was standalone, if Iron Man and Cap weren't there to, like,
buoy it up
in the Avengers crossover, I'm not sure Thor would have gotten very far.
It's very good. It's just the first couple movies, aside Kat Dennings and the Skarsgård guy, Stellan, I believe.
I believe that's the dad, yeah.
Are very self-serious movies.
and like to their detriment.
I don't think so. I like those movies.
No. Don't get me wrong. I really like Thor 2. And the first one
It's better than Thor 1.
Yeah, it is. And the first one is fun. But like in rewatching, especially once you pointed out the Dutch angles, and his blonde ass eyebrows.
Everyone in Marvel agrees the blonde eyebrows were a mistake.
Sure. The first one it's okay. It's fine.
All angles imported from the Netherlands.
But 2 is like such an improvement. I think I like 2 better than the first Avengers film, which if you guys have heard us talk about the Avengers should not be very surprising. But I don't know if the first one has enough momentum. Like I don't know that it would have gotten a sequel if there wasn't.
It absolutely would not have.
It's too serious for what it could have been.
It was a franchise that benefited from movies which have a much more winning formula around it.
And let me say this, maybe let me rephrase what I was trying to say. I feel like the first Thor movie, and to a slight degree the second one, played it too safe. Whereas Ragnarok just fucking takes off the seatbelt and jumps through the windshield and is great for it.
Yeah, it absolutely tries to get Thor to match the tone of the rest of the Marvel movies. Both, bombastic action, very serious emotional stakes, and wall-to-wall comedy.
Yeah.
I think, honestly, the Marvel movies being so fucking funny, usually, is one of the reasons I haven't seen a lot of comedy movies in the last little while. That gap is filled in my life. I have that and superhero movies in the same package. I don't need regular comedies.
Sure. I mean, I could understand that. The quote I chose was, "Oh shit." Moving swiftly along. Woof. How do you begin to explain this film?
So, there's a movie we watched for 2 reasons. One, I watched it because Jason Momoa's in it, and I like Jason Momoa a lot. As an actor. Is also as a very, very handsome man. But
He is the steak and the sizzle.
he is. But he's also really fucking talented, and his minor movies are usually weird. Like when he's not doing something bigger like an Aquaman or like some other larger franchise or bigger budget movie, he does weird shit in his own time. He's got a very auteur sort of aesthetic about him.
I like that he just takes chances on stuff, and he seems like one of those guys that just sees a script and is like, yeah, let's do that. Like Nicolas Cage if he didn't need money.
Yes, exactly.
The second reason we watched this movie is that a friend of a friend, honestly, you guys actually may have seen her. I believe it was last year. A meme image went around of a Cinderella with a glass arm. It was on the internet. It was front page Reddit. That is the friend of a friend who was in this movie.
Yeah, this is 2016's The Bad Batch. The friend of a friend was in the movie as the victims of one of the cannibals, who Jason Momoa is the leader of. She's an amputee, and the person in the movie had an arm off. So that's natural casting right there.
Sure.
This is coming from a place where a friend of a friend was in this movie, and an actor I really fucking like, genuinely. I have every reason to like this movie. This is not a very good movie.
I don't know if...
It's not a bad movie. It's just... It's a weird one, guys. It's a weird movie.
Even now, being as I am not as attached to the friend whom this friend of a friend was a friend of, this is the pair of podcasts
friend of a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend.
for me
Moving
being
on.
like that. I'm not sitting here like going, no, I only said this because of that. I have a hard time criticizing this movie because I think it nailed exactly what it was going for.
Yeah, I think this movie... Oh, yeah, also Keanu Reeves is in this, and he does an excellent job.
Jim Carrey
is amazing and completely vanishes into his role. He has a bit part that you do not recognize him during.
It's interesting, and I like the world they build. My biggest criticism is that I think the movie's a little too long. I think you could have shaved down
30 minutes.
Yeah.
You could have shaved 30 minutes out of this movie and lost.
And the narrative
nothing.
would have been a lot tighter. There's a lot of just plots that don't really go anywhere and don't really matter.
But it's not a bad movie. It's just It's a movie.
You know, you used the word auteur earlier, and I feel like this is very much an auteur movie. This is very, you know, this director had a vision, and this is the vision.
Oh, yeah. They absolutely hit the bullseye they were aiming for. I just don't know that it was a bullseye that's in my, you know, zone of appreciation.
I'm still glad I watched it. I think it was interesting.
I wouldn't want to live in a universe where I have not seen The Bad Batch.
Yeah.
This was a fucking experience.
Yeah. That said, I don't know that I'd recommend it to anyone ever.
No, that's fine. You don't have to. It's fine. Just don't.
Like, what if after we watched Mandy, instead of going, ugh, we went, okay.
You know what? That's a good example. You know, if the choice is The Bad Batch or Mandy, watch The Bad Batch. Or I guess get real fucking high and watch Mandy. All reports are it's great if you're blazed.
The quote you chose
was, "What you want?"
Quote I chose was, first, it was a seed. You take care of a garden, and it takes care back. You feed it, it feeds you. Few things in this world operate like that. Fair and square. Just needs a place to grow. Grows, and it comes out. And it's part of the world. Because it knows what the dream really is. It's life. Life is the dream. The only dream. Which is weird shit that Keanu said. I like cult leader babbling, personally. We're back on that Netflix roulette bullshit.
Yeah, this was one of your rounds.
Hell yeah, it was.
And it was an absolute double thumbs up winner, Turbo Kid from 2015. I'm afraid your story has come to an end. Well, then let's make it memorable. And I want to get the quotes out of the way because I think we both have a lot to say about this one.
Hey there, sleepyhead.
God, you chose a great fucking image.
Thanks.
This movie's fucking excellent. I believe we sung its praises during the podcast we did about it during Netflix Roulette. This is really fucking fun.
One of the best post-apocalyptic movies I've seen. I'd put it up there with Fury Road. Different in tone, but like still really good.
Yeah, like the opposite tone.
Yeah, it is very intentionally 80s post-apocalypse, but obviously it was made in 2015. But I think it captures everything about that kind of action movie fantastically. Instead of being pandering, it really knows the spirit it's going for.
And and you're right, it's very much 80s post-apocalypse, like Hope Punk meets Red Dawn. And
yeah.
It's really fucking fun. It is an absolute blast of a movie.
Mm-hmm. I would entirely recommend this film. I then watched something you did not.
Oh, you watched a fuckload of short films, I believe.
Well, no, this was just the follow-up, the short film prequel to Turbo Kid.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's fine. The quote I chose from it was, "Friends don't dismember friends." But it gives you a little bit of insight into one of the characters from the movie. It was okay. I'm
not necessary.
Not necessary. It was. I hesitate to use the word cute, but that's what I would use if I were not hesitating.
That's fair.
We jump forward.
All the way to the end of the year, basically.
I'm glad that we're not talking about these in depth right now because I don't know if my soul can take it.
Yeah, we're not talking about these in depth because we're going to be doing it later.
Yeah.
But we watched Star Wars: The Last Jedi. What did you have for your quote?
I chose a half quote, which was "We are the spark," because the rest of that quote is unnecessary, too long,
and makes the first part worse. If you just had that part, it would have been excellent writing.
More importantly, I chose the picture with Carrie Fisher's dog in it.
Great dog.
Your quote?
You were always scum. Rebel scum. And I like this quote more having heard a take about that particular part of that movie recently that makes me like this movie more. But we will get into it later.
Yeah, I will say, for the sake of a short version, I like this movie. On repeat watchings, I notice more flaws with it, but I still think there's something at the core of it that tugs at me.
I don't like this movie very much. But on repeat watchings, I soften towards it a lot.
All right, that was your last movie. And actually, I watched this film at some other point during the year.
Yeah, because that says 2018.
Yeah, it sure does. But I was going to use it as fodder for a game we were playing In fact, I described that right here. I hid it from my list to keep surprises away, but I didn't end up using it. We stopped playing that game, and we're never going to come back to it. It was a short film called Batman Puppet Master. It was really cool. The quote I chose was, Mr. Scarface would be so mad at me.
I had no idea this existed.
It's good.
I might watch it.
Yeah, I would suggest it. If you like Scarface.
Scarface is is like one of the lesser used since the animated series Batman villains, but it's a really good Batman villain. Like,
yeah,
the ventriloquist and Scarface are a really good Batman villain. That really it highlights the best part of Batman's rogues gallery, which is that most of his rogues gallery are crazy people.
The way this short film addresses and treats this character, as well as another character that's involved in it, is pretty good. I'm not going to say it's like a perfect short film. Oh, this should be the Batman movie. But I feel like they did a modern and cinema-worthy take of the ventriloquist character. Let's see here. Hey, that's a podcast, ladies and gentlemen. We managed to wring 2 out of it. I wonder if we're going to be able to keep that going. Maybe not. Maybe we'll have to vamp a lot in the future. But regardless, thank you for watching with us. And I hope you look forward to more years of movie homework until probably the beginning of next year when we review 2020. And then it's going to be a while for the next one.
We got to grow a new crop. But in any case, everything is better when nerds talk about it.